Alright guys, it's a couple days after I did the adjustment to the throttle cable on the Integra. Today I'm gonna go ahead and possibly try to get a few things done on there. Now, as you guys can see, it's been kind of raining these past few days out here in LA. I went ahead and picked up a few parts for the Integra. I got new trims. Alright, so you guys kind of had an idea of how this thing is going to go. So I'm just going to go ahead and wipe down the area right now where I'm going to go ahead and set the molding on there. And then after that, I'm going to go ahead and remove the other trim. Alright, so I was able to go ahead and, match everything up. I'm just going to go ahead and remove this one. I think this trim piece just needs to be the one that needs to be removed and swapped out to the new one. The other side looks amazing. I'm gonna go ahead and just show you guys how I was able to achieve that, but for now let me just remove this one really quick and pull it off. Okay, normally this would be like there we go, two-hand procedure. Make sure we clean this channel up right now, and I'll show you guys what the other side looks like in just a minute. Alright, so now that we're on this side, this is how it's supposed to look. So we're gonna go ahead and match up the passenger side to the driver's side. It actually just refreshes the car and gives the car a new presentation. Clean it up with the microfiber towel, and then I'll show you guys the end product. This is what the trims look like. Brand new windshield trims, passenger, middle, and driver's side. These things make a big difference. This is the passenger side over here. We're gonna go ahead and make some nice adjustments to some of these trim pieces so that it can really complement this beautiful brand new windshield trim. Guys, it feels amazing. Now, if you guys are interested in picking up these parts, I'm gonna go ahead and put the part numbers right here. Now, some of these parts again are available and some are discontinued. Another thing that I picked up for the Integra was a brand new oil pan gasket. I don't like the way this one looks. Unfortunately, it's just really not to my liking. I really want to go ahead and refresh the Integra as much as possible, so we got plenty of goodies on the way. We got the oil pan gasket, the little plugs for the VTEC solenoid, and we're gonna be flushing the brake system as well. So I gotta get a couple more brake fluid bottles. We're gonna go ahead and bleed the system on that pretty soon. We got Nolan and Moses right now. We're gonna go ahead and work on the Integra again. Obviously I think this is gonna be a long vlog. As you guys know, I went ahead and adjusted the throttle cable. We definitely now have a much better throttle response. As you guys see, no slack, so that's a lot better. Also went ahead and switched out the windshield trim. Now this thing looks refreshed, brand spanking new. Nolan's gonna be assisting me today, so we're definitely gonna try to drive this a little bit more, and we're gonna continue by modifying some of the smaller things that we can do without switching up too much of the Integra's naturally aspirated feel and driving motion. So with that said, let me go ahead and get the car up in the air. We're gonna go ahead and secure the car, and I'll show you guys what we're gonna be doing under the car. As you guys can see, my axle might have to get replaced pretty soon. Actually, it does need to be replaced soon. The boot is already leaking, so I gotta address that part right there. As you guys can see, the whole boot's already broken, and then we have that piece of string hanging off of there. I'm just gonna go ahead and address this minor modification down here. So we're gonna go ahead and start with this bolt right here. What they say is just to crack it loose and then just loosen it by hand, just because the spring is a little jumpy. So be very careful. This thing has a little spring in there with a little ball bearing in there, so there it is. So you can see, good over here. We have the difference right now between springs, OEM, and now the new spring. It's gonna make a big difference. You can already feel the difference in the spring rate. Now you gotta go ahead and guide it in by hand and then just push up. There it is. We'll do about 10 foot-pounds, hand tight. Alright. So that's one. And let's compare the original one. It's a lot shorter than the aftermarket one. So you can see the aftermarket one is a lot taller, and it also has a higher resistance, so the spring rate is a lot stronger. So let's go ahead and remove the other side. Again, same process. Just be very careful as you're removing the bolt after you break it loose. As you guys saw, it's not too tight, so make sure that when you guys are putting this back on, do not over torque it. Alright, so only the inside is the one that is really going to go ahead and leak some of the fluid out. As you guys saw, the first one came out really good. Hardly any oil dripped out on that side. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and see how much oil or how much gear fluid we lost, and how we're going to go ahead and replenish it with more Honda fluid. There we go. There we go. So now we're gonna go ahead and grab our fluid, our funnel, and then I'll break the filler hole loose. Alright, so we got everything set up. I got my funnel ready. I'm gonna go ahead and get my transmission fluid ready, and since we're just topping off and you guys saw how much we lost, I'm sure it won't take long before it starts to drip down there. So after all the installations that we've done to the Integra, now we're gonna go ahead and take it for a test drive. A big shout out to Moses and Nolan for helping me out with the installation of the little springs for the shifter. Guys, this shifter feels completely different now. It's way more accurate. There's really no play to it. The shifts are a lot more what's the best description for it? More direct. You see, there's no second guessing now. Everything falls in nicely. With the throttle cable adjustment, it really made a big difference as far as the power delivery. We can get on the pedal and we feel the car just wanting to go. So definitely that made a nice little difference. Let's take it on the freeway so we can get it up to a little bit higher speeds. I've also been adjusting some of the noises in the back. Point of view from this seat, like, it feels just so good. We are going to be making adjustments to the suspension. As you guys saw, we're going to be changing the oil pan and the gaskets that go around there. We're also going to be giving a suspension a quick little overview. We're gonna have to take the whole suspension components off to really give everything a good check, make sure that everything's working properly. Yes, we're also going to be looking into a new axle. As you guys saw, we're gonna have to replace the passenger side axle and then refresh the undercarriage as well. The exterior looks amazing. It can look just a little bit better, that's for sure, and we're gonna be doing that. But guys, I love this car. There's nothing like this naturally aspirated 4-cylinder 1.8 that just revs like crazy. This thing is just so fun. This thing can do high speeds, but I think the funnest part is right here. For me, this is where the fun is at. Just where you can feel the VTEC, and we're still within like speed limit, so it's a win-win as far as the true naturally aspirated car. Like I said, if we need speed, we got it, but this thing just loves to just go up to the 8,000 RPM mark. Let me go somewhere else where we can admire the full exterior of the new windshield trims. Alright guys, so in the front for me, the part that I'm honestly very excited about is the windshield trim. It just makes the whole front end look a lot better. So this is why I'm telling you guys that I will have to adjust the suspension. I feel like right now it's a little too stiff. I need to soften it up a bit. On a quick little launch, we get that little just jumpiness. I'm not sure if it's maybe the tires or if it's the suspension, but I definitely want to go ahead and get that a little bit more under control. I don't know, maybe I need to stiffen up the suspension. So we're gonna find out why it gets choppy at the beginning of the accelerations. But with that said, you guys, let's get back to the garage and start putting in some work on the Integra once again, because I've been getting some of those parts, and I definitely don't like that little oil leak that we saw on the oil pan. So that's going to be a 2-day process, because once removing everything is going to be easy. It's just going to be the waiting for the Honda bond to dry up, and that's basically RTV. And once we set the RTV, we gotta let it dry up for 24 hours. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the Integra in here, and we're gonna get to work. We're gonna take it apart. We're gonna go ahead and get it up in the air, put it up on jack stands, and man, this is gonna be a lot of fun. Honestly, I love working on the M4s, and I love working on the M's, but working on the Integra is gonna be a lot more fun because it's a lot less components to remove. So let's go ahead and get the Integra in here, and this should be fun. All right, everyone, so we have the patient in right now. We have a 1996 Acura Integra in for a passenger side axle replacement. We're gonna go ahead and put in a brand new oil pan and gasket on there. We're gonna go ahead and get everything else cleaned up underneath the bottom of the chassis, get everything squared away. This thing looks too beautiful to be neglected, so we're gonna go ahead and make sure to get everything cleaned up. And as a matter of fact, we might also do suspension. So guys, I'm gonna be taking on a lot, but might as well, you know, if you're gonna go ahead and take on a project, we got to do it right. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm gonna go ahead and do an oil change, and yeah, we're gonna check out the suspension, see what we're working with, see what we got, and you guys will see what we're working with in this 1996 Acura Integra. Alright guys, we just had a little break. Thank you, Brandon. He got his pizza. That honestly for me, it's like one of the best pizzas out here in the valley, especially because it's close to us. So, oh yeah, thank you, Brandon. Appreciate it. And then the camera died, the GoPro died, but I was able to get the axle out. So as you guys can see, the axle is really bad. The boot is torn. So I'm gonna go ahead and take it out to a shop and have it rebuilt. It's the OEM one. You guys can tell because it has the bump stop that allows it to balance itself out. So I'm gonna take this out, get it rebuilt. I went ahead and made adjustments to the coilovers. It was a little too stiff for my liking, like I had mentioned on the previous video. So now this is gonna be a lot better. It's got a little bit more give. It's not as stiff since I'm not tracking the car. So this is gonna make a nice little subtle change to it. We're gonna get this replaced. I'm already working on removing the headers right now. I gotta go ahead and get underneath, loosen up the bolts for the exhaust, and then that's gonna allow me to drop the headers. And at which point I will have to remove some plates for the transmission that will allow me to get the rest of the bolts for the oil pan. I already got the oil drain, so let's go ahead and put this plug on, since the new oil pan does come with an oil pan with a plug and a new gasket. So let's get these out right now. Big shout out to Brandon for bringing the pizza again. That came in clutch. It's already late, as you guys can tell. And we have the whole suspension already out. As you guys can see, we do have Skunk 2 Pro S suspension. So this is honestly a good suspension. Good morning. We're back at it again. The rain hasn't stopped, but we do have the axle with us. We're gonna go ahead and take it out to get it rebuilt. I took a good look at the driver's side and it didn't need to be touched right now. So for now, let's go ahead and take care of this, since we are gonna be refreshing a lot more components. So we're gonna go ahead and take a drive out to Acura, order some outer tie rods, and then the boots. We're also going to go ahead and get oil because I need 5W30. I have, I think, 5W20 or something like that, so I want to stay with the same viscosity. I'm going to see if I can order a couple more small items, and then we're going to go ahead and go to a shop and get these axles rebuilt. But let's get going. Alright, I made it out to my local Acura dealership. I'm gonna go ahead and walk in there, grab some oil, and order a few other components. I can't think of the top of my head what it is. Let me go ahead and go over the list with you guys really quick. I need to get the boot, the driver and passenger side boot. I need to get the outer tie rods, and also a power steering belt, maybe a pump seal kit if they have it for the power steering, and yeah, and the oil. So let's go ahead and go inside, and then I'll pick it up in a bit. Alright, so I went ahead and dropped off the axle. It's gonna go ahead and get rebuilt. They said it'll be done in a few hours, so I'm gonna go back to the house, start reassembling the car again. Right now I'm just gonna go ahead and see if I can get the tie rods in. It's a one-day process, but let's see if we can get them in either today or tomorrow. If not, I'll go ahead and leave that for another day. So today, the main goal for today was just to go ahead and finalize the oil pan install so we can put oil on it today. It normally asks for about 15 hours to dry. It's already been a good maybe about 20 hours now since it's been sealing. So definitely got more oil. And I also went ahead and picked up a power steering repair kit. I noticed that there's a little bit of oil coming out from the steering pump. So right here we have the VTEC solenoid. I'm gonna go ahead and refresh the gaskets. I have this one, but that one goes to the head, so I gotta go ahead and hold off on this one. But these two are gonna go right here. So this one right here is gonna go in this section right here, and then the other one is gonna go in this part right here with this sensor. So we're gonna go ahead and just remove some of these components, and yeah, let's go ahead and just make sure that we get everything freshened up. Alright, so it's been a long day. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to record when I went ahead and picked up the axle, but I just had a lot of errands to run at the same time, and I've kind of had a chance to just kind of clean up a bit. I still need to get more cleaned up, but I got the suspension ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and put the axle on first. So I also went ahead and took out the power steering pump. Unfortunately, it was leaking, so I went ahead and got a gasket kit, but the bolt that holds it in place was just way too tight. So the same company that went ahead and rebuilt the axle is going to go ahead and help me out with the water pump. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and get everything tidied up. We're going to reassemble everything. I'll go ahead and get everything cleaned up over here. With the power steering out of the way, I'm going to go ahead and get a brake cleaner can, and I'm just going to go ahead and spray some of this down, get some of this cleaned up. I got a new belt coming in tomorrow, so I'm trying to get everything ready. I went ahead and grabbed some simple green and a plastic brush, and guys, it did a really amazing job over here. I even had a chance to clean up the skunk tooth suspension, the camber plate kit. Go ahead and give everything a nice little wipe down when I start reassembling, but for now this thing looks amazing. I have the new inner and outer tie rod on the way, along with a new boot, so that will be in hopefully in the next few days. And like I said, we're just gonna keep on moving along. I got the fender liner over there. I have the other under tray put away, so I'm gonna be putting that on as well. So guys, this thing is coming along so nicely. I can't wait till we get the other side. We gotta go ahead and get every corner cleaned up. There's something about spending some time and getting all this cleaned up that is very, very relaxing. So let's go ahead and keep moving along. I'm gonna go ahead and go to the other side, and we'll pick it up in a bit. Alright, so after spending some time over here, I was finally able to get actually all four corners cleaned up. Honestly guys, that was a big mission. Just check that out. Looks so good though. You see that nice fresh paint. Everything else has been cleaned up. We gotta put the fender liner back on. Really happy with the way everything came out. So let's go ahead and put the axle back on. I gotta go ahead and get one more item back here, and that's that right there. You guys are gonna be able to see. That's definitely not good. So hopefully I can get the part tomorrow. But for now, I'm just gonna go ahead and continue. I'm gonna put the axle back on. Got everything already, like I said, cleaned up. Got all the grease cleaned up from the back, also the knuckle everything. Like, I just wanted to go ahead and give everything a nice little wipe down. A good amount of time to just go out, pick up the stuff that I needed to get, and I'll get to that in a minute. But guys, check this thing out. Like I said, this thing looks amazing. I went ahead and definitely put in some elbow grease to these fender wells. Nice. So I went ahead and removed the rear cambers for both sides. As you guys saw, the bushings were really trashed. I mean, if you guys take a look at all these bushings, they were really bad, really worn out. The plan was to hopefully rebuild these, get new bushings here, but with the time frame that I have, I just went ahead and opted out for a new set. So we're running Skunk 2 coilovers. These are the Pro Series, and these are the Pro S2. These are a really good coilover system. Now that I went ahead and adjusted the damper and the rebound, I should have a smoother ride. Everything's been cleaned out. As you guys saw, we went ahead and adjusted the rebound, the damper on here, by releasing some of the preload. That should give us a smoother ride. Big shout out to JHP USA. They had all these parts in stock. Now I went ahead and picked up the rear camber, which is in this box. And guys, check this out. Let's take a look at the old camber kit for the rear. Now, like I had mentioned, these things are really trashy. With the new ones now, I've already went ahead and mocked them up to the original length that these were at. We are going to go ahead and take the car to get a new alignment, since I did adjust the height. Try to get the suspension first and foremost at the height that we want. We're going to adjust it. We're going to go ahead and drive it for a little bit, let it settle, and then hopefully by Monday or Tuesday we can take it out to get an alignment. But so far, guys, this thing is looking amazing. Definitely we got a lot more work to do, but it's going really smoothly. It's a lot of fun. Everything, like I said, it's getting a nice little refresher, so it's definitely looking a lot better. Can't wait to get that new water. Can't wait to get the new power steering pump in there as well. I'm gonna go to the Acura dealership right now, pick up the belt, and get another maybe another bottle or two of power steering fluid. We're trying to get some of this one out and then just put new one in there as much as I can, just to get some new power steering in the system. But yeah, after that we'll go ahead and we'll do the brake bleeding at the end. So alright, so I'm back from the Acura dealership. I went ahead and got 2 more bottles of power steering, and I got the belt. So I'm gonna go ahead and reinstall the power steering pump. I'm gonna go ahead and install the camber kits for the rear. That should allow me to go ahead and start getting the rear suspension back on. Just hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet, because guys, there's a lot of content. I'm gonna go ahead and continue to put this back together, and I will pick it up in a bit. really dirty, as you guys saw from the footage. I wanted to make sure that everything was cleaned up properly. So now that everything is up to a good, nice little standard, after switching out some of these components that have been worn out over time, and then switching out the power steering and brake fluid, all these little things, honestly, they just come together so nicely. Right now the car feels solid. The rear suspension feels amazing. I don't hear the clunkiness that I would hear before. I actually emptied out everything so that you guys can actually hear me just talking, and also you guys can hear that this thing is honestly as solid as can be. Obviously it's a 30-year-old car, and the insulation that is now on the newer cars is not the same insulation that was in the 90s cars. Take it out for a good test drive, make sure that every component is good and torqued to spec. We went ahead and torqued everything tightened down all the suspension and torqued down all the components. So we still haven't done the alignment, but that's only because we're gonna do the inner and outer tie rod. So this definitely feels a lot better, a lot smoother. back at my favorite filming location, and after we went ahead and adjusted the suspension, switched out the passenger side axle, bled the brake system, switched out the power system fluid, and also some of the O-rings on there. What else did we do? We did the oil pan, we did the oil pan gasket. Definitely we try to refresh a lot of the components on here that obviously get worn down over time. We also did the rear camber kit on the suspension. It definitely needed a refresh. As you guys saw, the suspension bushings were shot. There was like hardly any bushings on them. It was really metal to metal, so the whole ride just felt a little clunky in potholes or dips. But now that everything has been refreshed, guys, this thing looks insane. Even the back looks way better now. I think I had it a little bit higher in the back before. Now I think the fitment is a lot better now. It's almost symmetrical. Just go maybe 1 or 2 millimeters lower in the rear, but it's not nothing hectic. Again, just refreshing all the fluids, power steering, brake fluid, major upgrade. Just because it looked like coffee, it was really bad, you guys. I'm not sure if it was the original fluid, if it had ever been swapped out or not, but we went ahead and took care of that. Went ahead and did the axles. What else did we do, guys? We did so much. We did the windshield trims. That looks amazing. It really gave the whole front end a refresher. Guys, I can't really think just right now, just off the top of my head, but we also went ahead and cleaned out the wheel wells. That was a major thing that needed to be done. I think cleaning the fender liners really made a big difference. It's gonna go ahead and make the car feel like refreshed all over again. We're gonna just go ahead and tidy up maybe 1 or 2 more components. Like I said, we do have the tie rods, the inner and outer, the boot. We're gonna be switching that out. I think we're gonna be possibly just cleaning up the interior and certain parts of it. Certain little parts have little smudges that I'm gonna go ahead and take care of. Refresh some of the black trims on the bottom. I have this solution in the house that I can go ahead and use. Let's see if we could refresh the headlights. We're also going to be doing the end links. I did realize that the end links are pretty shot on this thing, so we're going to be refreshing that with the inner and outer tie rod. So stay tuned for that, you guys. Everything else I think is pretty much done. I gave the car a nice little wash. I felt like it just needed to get a little refresher. I think honestly this thing is just perfect right now. I'm really happy with the way it is. I went ahead and just stopped by to get a little coffee right now. This thing is a beautiful time machine, and I call it a time machine because it really takes me back in time. Remember when I first saw this car at my friend's dad's hardware store? That thing was a beautiful car, and I fell in love with it. At the time I couldn't afford it, and many years later down the road I had the opportunity to obtain this beautiful car, and now 5 years later it's time to go ahead and put in some work. 100%, you guys. This whole ride feels way more comfortable than what it did before. Way more quieter, as you guys can see, even with the windows open, the sunroof open. I mean, man, this thing is solid right now. I'm very happy with the way everything is going down right now. Alright, we're gonna do a quick little acceleration to see if we still have the hoppiness that we did before. I remember the last time I think we did a little launch at 2000 RPM, so let's see if we get that same little skitterish hoppy feel, or is it now gonna give us the traction a lot faster. There it is, you guys. As you guys saw, we definitely didn't get the hoppiness that we had before. And maybe because we don't have all these other components that really made it noisy, now it really feels way quieter. brakes, honestly, you guys, they feel amazing. They are super grabby. Made the whole brake system feel like a whole new kit all over again. Let's do another little launch. There it is, you guys. We got the little chirping action. All right. Guys, you saw how it was on the freeways. It's so good, so quiet, and now even on the surface streets. I'm gonna take it on the bumpier side of the road. You guys are just hearing it. It just sounds so much better. It sounds the way it should, or the way it probably sounded when it came out of the dealership. With all these refreshments that we're doing, like, it's really making the car a way more enjoyable ride. Alright guys, that's gonna go ahead and do it. Make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed today's content. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed yet. Turn on your notifications, and I will catch you guys next time.